here. So now it's actually starting to record. Now I'm going to take off, okay? You push this button.
The home point has been updated. Take off.
So you want to make sure everything looks good. Looks pretty stable. I'm going to go left, right, forward, back. So it looks like it's pretty stable and working well. GPSs are good. So the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my cellular data. That way the maps will start working, I think. But so now, see how it says 6 feet high?
Yeah. Oh, that's feet.
That's elevation.
Elevation.
And then that's how far it is away from me. So now this will say the vertical height speed is 1.6 miles per hour. So now it's just going up.
That is awesome.
So now it's at 46 feet, right?
Yeah.
61. I don't want it to crash into those birds though. Now I'm at 100 feet.
100. That's the view.
Because if the birds crash into it, it will crash. So that turns it that way, and I can go forward this way.
That's cool. It just stays at that elevation, huh? If you don't.
It'll stay at the
move
elevation if I don't move it.
joystick.
Yeah, so left joystick up and down changes
Up
elevation,
and down. Yeah.
changes altitude. Left and right changes the direction that it's looking at.
Oh, okay. For
And
the
the-
camera view, basically.
Yeah, the front. Well, and then if you use front and back, it'll go front to wherever it's pointed to. So like I could always yaw like this, and I'll get a pretty good sweeping view of like
Oh yeah, that's what you do.
what we're seeing.
We already get a good view up here, so that's even better.
That's true too.
Very nice.
And then it's always a little. It's not always easy to see what direction it's facing, but it's facing out there right now. So if I go
It's
straight,
facing toward,
you always want it to face away from you like this, so that when you go forward, it'll go straight.
Yeah.
Like
You don't
that,
want to
right?
confuse it. Go
And
toward
we're
you
already
and-
pretty high up, so I don't need to go up like 400 feet. But if I was like at your house, we would go up 400 feet just so that we stay clear of
Yeah, wow.
trees and power lines.
Oh, it moves pretty fast.
Well, it's
This is
20
like
20
flies.
miles an hour, 22 miles an hour, right?
It's like a mini plane.
And then if I fly it that way. So the main thing now is if it were to go down, like crash, then we would always be able to see where it is located, you know?
Yeah.
So generally, if you're a beginner flying this, what I always say is don't move both of these joysticks at once.
Yeah.
Just move. So like here I changed direction.
Yeah.
So it's coming back towards me right now.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to go out that way,
Oh, you don't have to keep the joystick back?
if you just leave nothing, it'll just hover where it's at.
Oh, you were pushing the joystick.
I'm pushing the front joystick, the right joystick forward. But let's say I want to move out that way, then I'm going to change direction
Yeah.
like this, and then it'll just fly out there, right?
So this is all just direction based on the orientation of
Based
the...
on the orientation. So you always have to, what makes flying a little tricky is you always have to know the orientation
Yeah.
of where you are. Otherwise, you're going to get really confused. Like, especially when it's like, let's say it's coming back towards us right now, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of like what it's doing right now.
Yeah.
Then when I move right, it's going to move to our left,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, because
Yeah. It's,
this is moving right because it's pointing towards us, right?
yeah.
So that is basically all there kind of is to it. But like, let's say we wanted to fly out that way again. Like, I could take this a little further. See, like, I was a little
See that
nervous with
area?
those. Well, I could
Birds.
see out there, right? So I was a little nervous with all those birds, but a lot of the birds seem to be gone.
And the rain seems
So
to
here it
stop,
says the
too.
distance is I'm at 500 feet. See this thing here? It says 600
From
something
you.
feet. Yeah. So
Vertically, how much are you from here?
100 feet high.
Oh, okay. So you could go a lot higher.
So I can go a lot higher, but so see how you could
Wow,
barely
this
see it now?
far, yeah.
Now this is about 1,000 feet now,
Yeah.
right? Now it's like at 1,200.
Yeah. Now you could barely see it. It's like
You
a
could
speck.
barely see it. So now this is about the max I go, which is about 1,500 feet or so,
Yeah.
because you could barely see it.
Yeah. I see it turning around. That's on the right.
Okay, so you have visual?
I have visual, but it's like one of those things where you blink, you might lose it.
Yeah, because I look down here all the time, so I think
It's-
I actually did lose it.
I see it. It's right there, where my finger's pointed. It's moving this way.
So that's good because that's what I'm trying to do.
So
Now I'm going to move it back towards us.
us.
Because this bottom right map is what I can use to show,
Oh,
move it back
yeah,
towards
it's
us,
like
right?
a little radar.
Yeah, so that'll at least, so wherever it is, if I lose sight of it, I can use that to point it
Right
back
now it's
towards.
coming toward us.
Yeah, yeah.
Although that far away, it's hard to tell.
Where is it?
I can see it
You
right
can see
there.
it? You have visual?
See that little dot?
Oh, I see it. I see it
Yeah,
coming
it's
back
coming
towards us.
closer now.
I see it now.
Wow, yeah, that's
So you see the visual
pretty
coming back
big
towards us, right?
distance. And the thing moves fast.
30 miles an hour.
That's the thing, it's moving fast. Yeah, there it is.
So the other thing that this is pretty good at, which you can't necessarily tell right now because we don't actually have much wind, is it hovers in one position pretty well under wind. Like if it's really windy, it'll still stay there even
Does
though
it
the wind is.
compensate for the wind?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
because it's got the GPS?
yeah.
It
It'll
tries to maintain its coordinates?
Yeah. So from that perspective, it's pretty good.
That is good.
That's why this one's a lot easier to fly than like, the other ones that I had. Because the other ones don't do any of that kind of stuff. So there it is. I wanted to see the voltage. So you want to try flying it a little?
I'll do a little. I'll keep it
Okay.
close.
So the main thing that you want to do. Oh, here. Let's bring it down a little bit. If you want to keep it really close, that way you could at least have a good visual.
I want to get a good visual. Like right around here.
Okay. So now I'm going to point out this way. So now it's basically pointed right away from you. So
Oh, okay.
if you push the right one.
Oh, so the way you can tell is there's those two like
The two
long
red ones.
things. Oh, the two red things.
See the red?
Okay, so that's going forward. And then that's going left. Oh, okay.
So you kind of have a feel for it. But just to move one joystick at a time. Don't move them both.
Yeah.
Because.
So when you turn right?
Well, you could move
Oh,
right
you
like
could
that.
move like this and then go forward like that way. That's how you actually move right.
Well, you could move upright like this corner
Yeah.
if you wanted to move diagonally.
Yeah. Like
Or the
that.
other thing that I do a lot of times is I'll move the left joystick and point that way,
Yeah.
and then just have it go straight.
I can bring it back like this. And then depending on how hard you push the joystick is how fast it'll go.
Yeah, yeah.
Then bring it back.
So far it's been 8 minutes. So it's still a pretty long flight.
Yeah.
If you fly like 15, 20 minutes, it's pretty long. So you kind of get the orientation a little bit.
Yeah.
So the main thing with flying is you always have to know the orientation of where that aircraft is, right,
Yeah.
at all times. Like where is it pointed?
It's pointed toward the right. Now if I turn it toward us, it'll come toward us now.
Yeah. So people call this like a selfie, where it's like, this is what I'll do here. Watch. I'll bring it down here. So you should be able to see us. Oh, did I lose video? I think I lost video, huh? No, I have video. So, yeah, so you can see us right there, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to go forward. So let's say we go down kind of close. So it's pretty close to us.
It is.
And then, essentially what you do is, start here, and then I'm going to take it back and up.
Like take off.
Right?
So we look smaller then.
Yeah.
Kind of fun.
You can fly a little more.
It looks like a little insect.
Yes. So the main thing is you always want visual so that you could see it, and if it crashes, you know where to go to try to find it. That's the key. You want to be able to find it. You want to be able to hike to wherever it is to try to find it. I mean, if it's like in the middle of those hills, though, I don't know. It seems like it'd be kind of hard to find.
I'm turning it around. Not too much. And I can also look at that thing, huh? Okay. So now I have it facing us. I want to bring it toward us. I'm going to have it face that way. I'll bring it backwards like this. Oh, it's facing toward the right, I think. Oh, wait, to the left. Okay.
So if you're not sure where it is, I usually just go straight a little bit, and that'll
Yeah.
just tell me where it's pointed. It's a little loud too, because it sounds like bees.
Yeah.
But the other reason I put it up to 400 feet a lot is because then you can't really hear it as well. Oh, there's birds. So mainly, if the birds ever come and bother it, the best thing to do is just lower it or
Lower it.
higher elevation. Don't try to run away vertically or horizontally,
Yeah.
because birds are pretty fast. What they can't do that well is go up or down really fast.
Pretty fun. I like it.
I like the fun.
I like it.
We went a lot on these other directions. Let's
Yeah, wanna
try
get that?
this side.
So it never loses range? Like,
Oh, it loses range, but after a few miles, like the range is a lot. After maybe 10,000 feet.
so you're only going like 1,500.
Yeah.
Getting a sweeping view. That one's pretty low, huh? 50 feet, 40 feet.
So if we were to go up, let's try taking it up 400 feet and see what happens. Although I'm just about done with this flight now. I usually kind of end it pretty soon, but
Take it all the way up.
so then you can't hear it as well either. That's kind of the other reason, because if it's low, people always look at you because, they're like, hey, what's that? I could hear something like bees or something. But if I bring it up to 400 feet, then usually you could barely see it and you could barely hear it.
Still here. Sounds like a fly. How many feet is this?
This is actually at 400, so you could still kind of hear it.
Yeah, you can still.
Well, it's right above us.
Yeah, if it were like way up there, 400.
So now it's at
Hey,
400.
that bird. It's like as high as that bird.
Might be higher than that. Yeah, I guess you could still hear it because it's so quiet here.
Getting smaller.
Right,
At least you've got that homing device where you just push the button and it'll come back to you.
You do have that too, because that way it won't get lost.
If it does though, what elevation does it come down to?
So you set it. So I set it to always go to 200 feet elevation.
Directly above you?
So what it'll do is wherever it is, like if it loses a connection, or if I push, hey, return to home because I don't know where you are, then wherever it is, it'll go to 200 feet. It'll either go down to 200 feet or it'll go up to 200 feet. And then it'll go for a straight line to wherever I'm standing or wherever we took off from. And then from that point on, it'll just come right to above where I am. And then wherever I am, it'll just come, and then it'll just come straight. It'll just like come down, right?
So when you launch it, does it record its
It
coordinates?
records the home point.
On home point.
So
when
usually
you launch.
when you launch, so it'll usually say home point set.
That's good. So even if you lose connection, no.
It'll
As
hear.
long as you don't move.
I mean, you want it to say home point set. If it doesn't say that, then you want to make sure you set it, because like if the home point is still, the last home point is set to like where I took off in Seattle, then it's a problem, right?
That could be a problem.
because it's not gonna make it that far. So this is how I land it. I usually just kind of bring it up here. I try not to go too
Fast.
It looks like it's a little windy because it's moving kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
See how it's a little shaky?
Crazy.
And then I usually just hand catch it. I just do this. And then I kill the propellers. Hold this.
And then you just stopped it.
Push this to stop recording.
Low battery warning.
Low battery.
And I just got the low battery warning, which is nice.
When you grabbed it, did the propellers automatically stop?
No.
Interlocked?
So when you go down,
Yeah.
if it detects that there's no more movement for like a few seconds, then it'll just automatically stop. The propellers will automatically just stop. So that's what I did.
So when you grab it,
When I grabbed it, and then I kept pushing down, so it wasn't
Yeah.
coming down anymore because
Oh,
I
I
was
see.
holding it. So at that point, it just went. And then
well, that's why it might fail if it hits like a bird, right? If
Yeah,
it
well,
hits, if it hits
if
a
it's
bird,
a bird, the problem is what'll probably happen is the bird will get caught up in the propellers. And then if it does that, then
oh, it'll physically stop the propeller.
yeah, then if a propeller's broken or something, it'll. This is battery number 2. I have 2.
Battery
So
number
this is where you could practice your flying a little. It's still like resetting itself. There it is. So again, we gotta wait for this. Yeah.
The home point has
Yeah,
been
so home point-
updated.
so
Please
see
check
that?
it on the map.
So since this is home point updated, that's what we want to hear. This is weird though, how like the map isn't showing up, but
The camera's not showing up.
I could have sworn I didn't turn on. I should turn this off of. I guess I'll turn it off airplane mode so that it'll have data. Yeah. Now that it has data, I just didn't want to get phone calls while I was doing this, but it should update now. So now we'll do the same thing again to take off. You could launch it manually, but I always just use this.
Take off.
So we got to do our first checks here. You know, home point's been done. It seems like it's hovering okay, although it's a little windy. I bring it up a little bit, and then like I'll just make sure it turns left, right. It's going right, left and right, front and back. Start recording. So now, here, we can practice your flight drills. This is what I practice, right? First, you want to practice, this is the easiest thing, okay? Well, let's move it up a little bit more. Straight, and then right. So it's basically a box. Back, and then left. Whoa.
That's without even turning the
Yeah,
direction.
so you're not turning anything yet. All you're doing is you're just going in a box. That's the easiest part.
Do the box.
Yep. That's the easiest. Okay. So now, if you want to get, you should be fairly comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing they would probably want you to do is try that, but face the camera towards us. So now everything's gonna be backwards.
Oh. And then I gotta go backwards first. And then I gotta go
Left, right?
And then I gotta go forward.
Yeah. So that you're familiar with this kind of orientation too, right? You have to fly it when it's in this situation.
Alright.
So now,
I'm gonna face it the other way again.
yeah, let's fly it over here. Because there's people over there, so they might get bothered. The other thing is, now you want to fly in a box, but always have the camera point forward.
Okay, so
So go straight,
go straight and then rotate it.
rotate the camera to the right,
To the right, like that.
and then go straight, and then rotate it to the right again, and then go straight, and then rotate to the right again, and then go straight. Uh-oh.
Oh, backwards.
Yeah. That's the practicing part, right? And then you could try to do it in one fluid motion.
Oh, without like stopping?
Yeah. Well, so what you would do is on your right hand, all you're doing is going straight, going forward all the time. You're just using your left one
Oh, I
to
see.
change the direction, right? You don't have to go fast, but you know. That's pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Now the final lesson is to do what you're doing now, except try to make a figure 8. So kind of go out in that
Oh,
corner.
like a
and then come
circle?
back. Yeah, if you could. It's kind of the next thing you can. So you go diagonally. So again, the right one is just going to be going pointed forward. It's the left one that's always going to be like. Well, I guess you could try to make a circle first, you know, before
Figure
you do
eights.
figure 8s, but.
Oh, I see. Oh, wrong way.
Yeah, that's basically how you practice flying. Being a drone pilot. If you want to be a drone pilot, you just have to be good at this kind of stuff.
Oh, wrong way.
That's the confusing part, always knowing what orientation you're at right now.
Now I'm facing that way.
And you know what this is? My anemometer.
Oh, velocity?
Wind. 2.6 knots of wind.
That's not much.
It's not too much. So you could raise it up or not, but you can try to take it a little further if you want. But the birds make me a little nervous, but other than that, I think we're pretty good. Just don't fly it above a lot of people, because sometimes people don't like that.
I'm gonna turn left.
Let me fly it over to that field for a sec. Looks kind of an interesting place to fly.
See, after a while, though, it probably comes kind of second nature, huh?
Yeah, it becomes that's kind of the goal, right? Is you want to try to get it to be sort of second nature so that you don't crash. Although this is like, this one's kind of hard to crash. Like if you're out in the open like this,
Yeah, what's it gonna crash
almost
into?
no way to crash into anything, right?
Yeah, because you're controlling. I mean, nothing varies unless you vary it.
Yeah, or unless like if you do something that, if you do something kind of stupid,
Well, if you think you're facing the wrong way and you go real fast and it goes the opposite direction of where you want,
yeah.
then it's
So you
kind
still have visual eye of contact of it, right?
yeah. Actually, I lost it. You
Oh, I
still
see it, but barely. I'm turning it back right now anyway. Like I barely see it because it's out in the clouds, but I do see it right now.
That's
It's
because you
kind of,
never put your head down, huh? Now I
can you
see
can
it.
you kind of see it
Oh,
now?
now I see it right there.
Yeah, right there. That's it.
It's like the same. It looks like the birds.
Yeah, it's hard to tell because it looks like the birds.
Yeah, I see it now. It's coming closer.
I just went over there to check out that soccer field looking thing.
It's a pretty cool toy.
The main thing is you always just have to avoid airports. You know, places like Lawrence Livermore National Labs. You don't want to fly above Lawrence Livermore Labs. Your security guards will not be happy
You
about
don't want
that.
to go into like Russian airspace.
No,
Or
you
Syrian
don't.
airspace. They'll shoot you down.
Gather surveillance video. It's kind of fun, right?
Yeah. Pretty cool.
It's so high. This video.
It's basically like a helicopter, huh?
Yeah.
The way it moves. Look, it's that plane. Try to hit the plane.
You don't want to do that.
You're getting so much trouble.
Well, that's why this thing is actually giving me a lot of warnings right now. Because I think we're close to Livermore Airport.
Oh yeah.
So you always have to stay more than 5 miles away from the airport.
You could hear it. Oh, there it is. Right above us.
Okay, I'll fly back. Yeah, I'm gonna bring her down. Stay away from that airplane. Even though it's pretty far away. Seems kind of low, right? I'm gonna land her again. I mean, it's about 52% battery left, so we do have battery left, but you wanna fly a little bit more, or are you good?